Welcome to Volume 3, 2D Plumbing. We left off at 2D Electrical. Remember, our first method was to copy and paste the layout file. This is the second method I will show you. It's a bit risky, but if you try it, try to go methodologically. So go to File, Save As, and then look for the folder Lesson 3, Lesson 4, 2D Plumbing. If you save us there, by default, the name of the file is still Boxhouse Electrical. So we have to change electrical to plumbing. Boxhouse plumbing. You don't have to type .layout because the file type is already saved down here. So just click Save. If you notice, the layout file that was open was electrical, now becomes Boxhouse Plumbing. Here we can choose to delete all the electrical layout that we have done and change them into our template for plumbing. So let's go to Layers, delete all the letter E, and let us leave that rectangle. Well, let's turn it off for now. Now we can change the names of our titles to First Floor, the page name to Plumbing Layout. So go to Pages, Floor, Plumbing, Layout. Change the letter E to P for plumbing, and do the same for the next drawing title. Notice I did not have to edit the name because it was already second a while ago, and I already changed the auto text in Pages. Now we can start with our waterline layout. For waterline, you can choose to make a shape and color it blue. So go to Stroke, click on the stroke color, and click on the color you want. You can also edit the stroke width to 1.5, depending on how big you want it to be seen. What I usually do when I'm rushing is I click on this, and I change the first and last arrow to just a vertical line. Sometimes when you click on it, it's clicking the arrow above, so you have to go lower. So I know the vertical line is here, I just click lower. That becomes the perpendicular line. And I could select that style and draw with a line. So I can start drawing pipes like this. However, the first thing I want to do, because pipes might take a long time to decide, is to first locate my water entry. So let's say I want my entrance to be somewhere here on the left. I can disable those arrows and draw something like this. Just push downward, drag again. I could edit that. And I could call this the From Main Entry, or the Water District. This is Baguio Water District. This then will go towards the gate valve, the water meter, and the check valve. For the check valve, I could just copy this, use my splitter, and delete that line. Since I don't like to see the small line behind, I can make a fill for this, and this as well. So I could call this the water meter, the gate valve, and the check valve. Usually we locate this where the meter reader can easily access without going inside the house. So you can also choose to have this further beyond the gate or to the right side. But knowing that my water tank is above the roof deck here, I just choose to put it here. Now I'll decide on where to put the riser or where the water goes up. So I could make a line and make a circle for the riser. And now it's up to you if you want to put styles on these lines like the end arrows I mentioned earlier. You can make them smaller, 0.5, 0.5. However, when it comes to printing, it does not really matter because you can easily see where it's laid out and make callouts later for the fittings. You can call this the upfeed riser. And let's say it's around 1 inch diameter. So hold Alt. While holding Alt, go to your numpad and type 0216 and then release the Alt. That creates this diameter sign. I'll put it here as a note. Alt plus 0216. Okay. Hold Alt, type this, and then release Alt. Let's say upfeed riser 1 inch diameter to water tank on roof deck. It's also up to you if you have much time to add details, or you could just call it the riser. And then here you can also put the dimension. Let's say this is 1.5, 0216 PPR pipe. Depending on the plumbing analysis and the design of your water lines. The next thing we can lay out now are the fixtures, because they're already there. So I know that this was the the kitchen sink. This is the laundry sink, shower, water closet, and lavatory. Let's say for our shower, you can make a line and choose the end arrow to be a circle. Make the circle smaller. That could indicate the shower, instead of drawing a circle and a line, which is still possible to do. Copy that. I'll put this on the left side. I'll make it a perpendicular line. This I put on the left, and I can make way for a 3-way angle valve. Why 3-way? Because I want an option later to put a spray bidet. Bidet sprayer. I call it sprayer because the real bidet is also shaped like the water closet. This is the shower. And then I can put one here for the lavatory. So I can just copy that. In cases where I forgot to draw the 2D lavatory, you can draw it in layout as well. So just make a simple rectangle. This way, even without drawing it in 3D, you can have it shown here. You can choose to center this to show the faucet, or you can choose to show also the angle valve. I also place it on the lower left so that they are uniform. Since I'm going to combine both plumbing water lines and sewer line, I'll combine them here in the plumbing layout. Can do the same thing here for the other side, and once you're done, choose a way how to connect them the most economic way possible. So in this case, let's say from the water tank, it goes down the same way, so around here. And from here, even if this might be too close, I'll just put the diagram here, and then you have to supervise it again in real life. So let's say it goes this way. Goes outside the house before making the bend. Goes here. Services the laundry sink as well as the kitchen sink. Now I know that I have a column here, so I'll choose to go beneath the floor or go outside through the wall. That's your discretion, but for me, I'd choose not to. Let's say I choose not to mind the flooring inside so that the tiles won't have a hard time. I'll just make a bend here outside and try to clad this over with some aesthetic. Or this can also pass through the floor. But be careful because this has a footing below as well, so not too deep. Once that is finished, you can choose to go towards the water tank and locate how these downfeed will go through. So we'll call this 1 inch or 3/4. Yeah, let's call it 1 inch. Let's make it a bit bigger. Diameter, PPR, down feed. So if you think that this will have a hard time, like the riser, let's say this is 1.5. It goes smaller to 1. The bigger it is, the harder time it will have to climb. So I can make it smaller by making it 3/4, depending on also the design. So let's say I have this as 1 inch, so water flows smoothly. And when it goes towards the riser, I need the pressure to build up to go to the 3rd floor without having a pressure tank. From here, I can choose to have the same down feed going to the same stacked floor. So I could just copy this, hold down Control and move. Make sure your mouse is in a cross cursor. Hold down Shift to align and have the same layout up here. So this is the riser that goes up and this is the down feed. Can choose to have the same layout. Nothing else needs water here, so I'm fine. I go to the next page. Oh, this is still in electrical. I have to delete these pages that I do not need. Here I could copy the riser and the down feed. Since I know they are aligned, copy and paste. So I notice now that even if my floors are aligned, my pipes that go up are way beyond the building. So you could even start here above and then go down here. However, I remembered this is a firewall, so we might have to relocate them. Can even have it this way, so that the riser goes towards the tank, let's say up here, and the tank goes downwards here. You can also choose to relocate it somewhere here where it's more accessible, and that's personal discretion. Let's say I'll update that downstairs. So here it hits the bathroom. I can move it there. And then when it goes up to the roof deck, it starts to bend. Okay. So the other way to do that is our scrapbook. Go to Kimbook and look for plumbing. Once you have that, I'll give you scrapbooks for your water line layout, such as this. Service entry from main water line. A short template where you can even choose to put elbows for bended fittings. And in case you didn't draw this in your 3D model, you can use this as well. And also for your plumbing lines. Also for your sewer lines, you have the same template. This time, instead of drawing all of these one by one, I'm just going to put them here as groups, so you can choose to edit them. Let's say your floor drain is somewhere here. Could double click into that group, move this downwards, double click, and pull it upwards again. So these are just basic lines and shape styles that were edited. This is not a special plugin or extension. So we also have the labels. Put a 3-inch diameter vent stack above every fixture. Instead of drawing 2 lines, I put 2 labels instead. A 4-inch soil pipe for our water closet, and then a 3-inch waste pipe for drainage, such as the shower drain and the lavatory, and floor drain that can go towards the canal instead of the septic tank. So things that don't really need to be digested in the septic vault. If you don't like to use the whole template, you can also select them by dragging and dropping one at a time. This is not really necessary when doing the layout, but it helps for visual estimates, such as counting how many Ys do you need, how many elbows, and how many 45 degrees. These also can be easily counted, like I want 1, 2, 3, and 4 P-traps just by counting them from the floor plan. So that being said, let's try to do the sewer line layout. Since I have them both in one page or one floor plan, I have to find a way not to make these 2 lines overlap with each other. So I could choose to have all my sewer lines outside or depicted by drawing on the wall itself, and the water line inside the wall so that it can pass by the floor. But be careful of playing sewer lines where columns are aligned because there is a beam below. So if you choose to put it here, you have to indicate how low or where will be the starting point for the plumber to locate. So let's say I have one line here and I located my septic tank somewhere here at the back. Disable fill. I use the shortcut letter I instead. I can copy paste this or drag it up here like that. And then for these fittings, you can use the same from the group if you have a copy of it. Say the P-trap here. The floor drain. I already have one downstairs, so you could just get that. Flip left to right or Shift F. So going towards the location of the septic tank. Since the water closet is already built in P-trap, I will just indicate it with the pipe elbow. I can center it because water is already located at the left side. That way you can see both water and sewer fittings. I can use this as well for the shower drain. Okay. And then I can put the note here. So in this kind of method, as compared to our previous methods, we did all the drawing first in layout. And then if you have more time, you can arrange them in layers later. If you notice in our electrical and structural, we had the layers done first so that we drew over them. But oftentimes we forget to change our layer or the active layer. So this method is just drawing everything. Let's say you're rushing, and then if you have time and you want to collaborate, you can select them and move them to the layer after. Example for this, I don't really know which things I selected, so I just assume I selected the PVC. Right click, make group. Go inside that group and see if you selected them. Now I also selected some waterline fittings. Easily just cut, it's Control X and then paste outside, Control V. As well as our waterline. Hold down Control and select. Right click, make group. Now we go inside that group and we see that soil pipe should not be included here. Let's cut and paste here. Okay. And then after that, you can group them by layer. So above SketchUp, I press the plus sign. Call this P for plumbing and water line. Another one, P dash sewer line. Right click the water line, move to layer, water line. Right click the sewer line, move to layer, sewer line. So now if you just want this to be the sewer line layout, just turn off that water line layout. And vice versa. Okay? So remember we have our rectangle from the electrical. The rectangle should be below the lines, so that when we turn them on, we can easily see our plumbing layout. So just explore the scrapbooks. These are done in shapes, shape style, and arrows. So let's say the septic vault is here. You can just edit that, or you can redraw it however you like to arrange them, as long as they're in the same layer. So move to layer, sewer line. So this will be in a call out for our digestive chamber and our leaching chamber. This is mainly for our soil pipe or poop, so that when it gets digested, it leaches. The effluent that comes out is not solid. Comes out as much as possible as just clear water. And then our drainage for like laundry could go straight to the towards the canal. Of course, you need to provide some type of filter, let's say gravel, before it goes out to your nearest canal. If you have an urban sewer system, you can put the septic tank in front near the road to connect to the city sewer line. And then remember, not only do you have vent stack above every fixture, this belongs to PVC, you also have to put cleanouts. So you can just copy that and drag that to the right. You can have your cleanout face whatever direction you want to. Let's say wall cleanout, that's WCO. For floor cleanout, FCO. So don't worry, because you have a list of material symbols and plumbing legends in your plumbing notes. Okay. And then in the laundry area, don't forget the floor drain as well. Especially when you go to your balconies, you need to have your downspout going down from your roof. Let's say here. And then your floor drain right here. In cases where you cannot show the whole piping system, you can use the hidden line and arrow to indicate that it goes there, and the plumber can have his discretion on how to lay it out. For example, this will be the floor drain going towards the downspout. This will be 0.1. Oh, 25 is the smallest. I'll change the arrow type. Okay. You can have it that way or this way, indicating it goes below the balcony. Or in case your downspout is right here, you can even have it go this way. Okay? So that when you arrive in your roof deck, you can see where the downspouts are located. Finally, afterwards, after laying them all out, check your layers again, and then arrange them. So this belongs to waterline, and this belongs to sewer line. Now let's go to our scrapbook so we can see more of those that we have used. You can actually even drag and drop this. We also have the catch basin. From the downspout to the catch basin, you can have a rectangle and type in CB. Or in this case, what I did was I typed in CB and just added a stroke. I did this so that wherever I move the text, the rectangle will be there, or the square. So I just pull down the stroke, hold down Alt for both ways, and in text style, put it to the middle, anchor center. So if you want to edit text, go to text style. If you want to edit a shape, go to shape style. That's how I made the catch basin. So now if we're going to dissect this group, ungroup, we can see that this is just a line that have been bent. Okay, and then from there, just made that. If you notice, why is it rounded? That's because our shape style has an option to round off the edges here, stroke style. The third one, chamfer. So I chose that and rounded the edges. Now this one, this is a stroke with arrows. However, the arrow style are just lines. So you can make it that way. 45 degrees and then back to 90. Or you can also make your 45-degree elbow. So this is the more accurate one, but that depends on how you want to use them. So these scrapbooks are included in the volume. Finally, we will go to the isometric plumbing view. So even if these are incomplete, I'll teach you now the basics on how to set up the isometric view. So let's turn off the rectangle in our layers so we could see the floor plan. Okay, what we could do now is to show what we want to see in the isometric view. So let's turn off the column grid. We just want to see the plumbing layouts and the floor plan. So I'll try to turn off everything I don't need, such as the title or the tags or the text that are not included. And then let's select this floor plan and all the plumbing layouts. Right click and make it into a group. Do the same for the other side. Make group. Select both of them, so those are two groups, and go and make a page for your isometric view. For the isometric view, by standard, there should be an angle of 60 and 60 on both sides, or 30-60, or 30-30, or 30-60, whichever plays along 30 and 60. However, for our case, we will see which suits best for the A3 size paper. So I'm going to raise this up by 30 degrees, so type in 30, enter. And let's see if both floor plans can fit. Let's say I'm satisfied with this, but they're a bit too big. So I can go back and scale them a little smaller. If you assign the scale to them, then no problem. You can just go to the scale drawing and make it to scale. If you're going to make an isometric view that's not to scale, then you can just rescale the group by holding the arrow, holding down shift, and if you see in the lower right, it shows the scale 1:1. I'll try to make this 0.8, 0.8, enter. So that will be 80%. The problem with that is that our floor plan has a definite scale. That means it will not follow the scale of the group. So I'll undo. You could either choose to remove the scale of this floor plan by exploding it, or put everything to scale and then do it manually. Let's say, for example, I'm satisfied with my floor plan and they need not to be changed anymore. This is my final floor plan. So I go inside, right click the SketchUp viewport, and then click explode. Once exploded, it's going to become a scaled group, 1:75. Once you go into that group, you might have two kinds of drawings, the fill and the stroke. This happens when you are in raster or also in hybrid mode. In hidden line, it might be transparent. So I'm going to select the fill and delete them. Yep, this one. I'm left behind with a hidden line style. And I want this floor plan to have the thinnest stroke because I don't want to overemphasize the floor plan. I want to show more of the plumbing layout. So edit the stroke weight to 0.1 and you will have a thin floor plan, while the plumbing layouts are more defined. You can even choose to make them wider. I'll do the same for the other side. So click on that viewport, right click, explode, go inside that group and delete the fill. Escape, click that group, make it the thinnest line weight. And I can see that the plumbing layout is more defined than the floor plan. Now I can rotate them 30 degrees. So select both, rotate upwards and 30, enter. Next I will try to align them together. Let's say here firewall, it will be our alignment, and I can move upwards. Since this is out of the paper and I want it lower, there's no problem because we can still see our plumbing layout. If you want it to be more defined, you can even make it more angled so that you can bring this a little higher. So that's also your situational discretion based on your paper size and scale. For this case, I want to remove the scale, remove scale, so I can scale the whole group. I'll do the same for the other group, remove scale, and I can resize everything at once, holding down Shift and making them smaller. This way I have space even for my title block, while not impeding the view of the plumbing isometry. And then let's try to see the text that didn't become smaller. Go to text style and make them maybe 4 points, unbounded, so as the other side. You have to make sure they are still readable on towards the blueprint. So you can keep experimenting until you get the right size that you want to achieve. There. Now you can lay out the downspouts. So just choose a dashed line, a small stroke, and then look for the roof deck downspout. In case the roof deck doesn't fit here, you can put it here on the other side and label it to continue here. So let's say this is my downspout, goes over here, and the scale is too small, so I could make the dashes a little longer. And I can label it DS or downspout. Let's say instead of 3 inches, let's try a 2-inch PVC downspout. You can align it to the drawing to show that it's vertically labeled. Do the same for all sides requiring a downspout. Say for example this floor drain, can even make it look like that to indicate what you meant on the floor plan. This goes up to the roof deck, as well as the downspout here, which goes down as well here to the catch basin. CV, stroke on. But if this is already drawn in your floor plan, then it's already written here. Okay, do the floor plans first before coming into the isometry. If you choose to make this further isometric, then you can even go as far to laying out the P-trap, going up, going there, and just laying out the P-trap for the sink. But since this is more understandable for now, we can leave it as is. For 3D plumbing, 3D modeling, 3D structural, and 3D electrical, they're all available in our premium version. So check out the folders. Thank you for listening, and just keep practicing until you get the hang of it.